to tell you guys how I studied for my 3P exam after failing it for the first time. Doing practice questions, listening to the Sarah Michelle, and writing out my notes. Then you have epididymis, and with epididymis, you know that if the patient is under 35, it's more than likely an STI, gonorrhea, or chlamydia. And I love how they do, like how this book is written. It has the patho, it has the physical assessment, and it has the farm. So everything is written down step by step, which I really love.
You need to know you're beautiful, you're perfect just like you are.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Georgia. If you're new, welcome, and if you're not, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to tell you guys how I studied for my 3P exam after failing it for the first time. So my school, we do like a 3P exam if you're in like a nurse practitioner school. My school gave us the 3P exam that is written by APEA, and we only have 2 attempts. If we don't pass it on the first try, we get a second try to pass the exam. And if we don't pass it on the second attempt, we are basically booted out of the program. And basically they ask you to look for a different specialty, meaning you have to go in something educational and something that is non-clinical. With this exam, it tests basically the 3 core subjects of your FNP program or your nurse practitioner program, which is advanced pharmacology, advanced physical assessment, and advanced patho. So with that being said, as I told you guys, you get 2 attempts. And the passing score is at 67, meaning the exam is really hard. The exam is so hard. That's why the passing score is like that. So if you stumbled up on this video, that means you guys are wondering what is the 3P exam, what is it all about. You guys are either preparing for the exam or you guys feel absolutely devastated after failing the exam. So my school, it gives you 2 tries to do the exam. The pass mark is a 67. You have to pass it on the second try. For my first time doing the exam, I didn't really study for my first try. My first try doing the exam, I studied, but just a little bit. However, I was in advanced physical assessment, and that class is so much. I had to do a head-to-toe assessment, and you have to pass the head-to-toe assessment. If you don't pass the head-to-toe assessment, you get a second chance, and if you don't pass that on the second chance, you have to repeat the whole class, which is 16 weeks. Plus studying for midterm and studying for final exam, and the midterm and final exam are all proctored. So yes, so you have to do midterm, your finals that are proctored, then your head-to-toe assessment. So there was no real time to study for the exam. However, my school does do lectures 2 times a week just to prepare you for the examination. But I believe that the lectures, they helped a little bit, but you had to like really dive in to the disease process to understand what is going on. So that was my first try. Didn't get to study that much. Ended up, I have my documents right here. I ended up getting a 60% on the first exam, which is not that bad for someone that didn't really study that much. Hold on. For my first try, I didn't really study that much because I was super. For my first try, I didn't study that much because I was focused on my advanced assessment class. And for that class, there was so much work to do, so you didn't really have time to study. But after doing the exam, this was my score. I got a 60%, which is not that bad. And it does give you can do like a printout after doing the examination, and it basically tells you like your weak areas and areas that you need to improve on, areas that you're strong at, and it also tells you like how you do on assessment, how you do on patho, and how you do on farm. So it's like down here, and as you guys can see, I did really well in patho and physical assessment, but in farm I didn't do that good. So for the second round, doing the examination, my school offer a remediation course. I paid for that. I went to lecture like every single week. It was a 6-week course, so I went to that every single week. Basically talks about our weak areas, things that we need to improve on, a lot of questions. My school does provide the APEA Q Bank. I did the questions in the APEA Q Bank, but on my first try, even though I was doing the APEA Q Bank, it didn't really help. So on the second try, I did the Q Bank, but I didn't really focus on the Q Bank. So for me, what I focused on was taking notes. I bought the Sarah Michelle crash course, which was $139, and I also bought the Sarah Michelle Q Bank for $29. Also have these books that I got from the TikTok shop. They're also on Amazon, so I'll leave the link down below so you guys can get them. This book, this one is a Family Nurse Practitioner Board Prep Study Guide. This one actually follows the Sarah Michelle guide. The Sarah Michelle videos, it actually followed the Sarah Michelle videos. And what I would do is I would basically go into every body system, and I would do one body system every day or 2 body system every day, and learn about those body systems. So for example, for the eyes, so this is how it looks. I would go in the eyes and I would look at every single thing in the eyes that you need to know. And I was also really bad with cardiac, like cardiac drugs and just cardiac overall. Like for my strong points, they said that I was strong in dermatology, psych, endocrine, neurological, and those were the things that I really like. I love psych. As you guys know that I'm a psych nurse, did really well in psych. Endocrine, it's kind of like psych. I love endocrine, all diabetes, all your parathyroid, your thyroid, love SIADH, like Addison's, Cushing, all of that. I love those systems. So I did really well in those systems. But when it came on to cardiac, I had a difficult time. So I went in this book and I just went to cardiac, did all cardiac. I actually read this book like all the pages 2 times, and this is how it looks in the cardiac section, right? And I also use this book. This book is more in depth than the other one. The other one actually followed the Sarah Michelle, and I love that. But this book went in depth. This one is the Family Nurse Practitioner School Guide, and this one is made by Nursing Made Simple. And this is how it is. It has a whole pharmacological section. So it has everything farm. And I love how they do, like how this book is written. It has the patho, it has the physical assessment, and it has the farm. So everything is written down step by step, which I really love. I really enjoy learning like that, especially doing the 3P exam. That is exactly what they're testing. They're testing if you know the farm, the assessment, and also the they're testing for, so especially for the 3P exam, they're testing for the farm, the assessment, and also the patho. So I love this book because that's exactly what it shows you. It shows you the patho, the assessment, the risk factors, physical assessment, and treatment. Well, let's go and endocrine. And this is the endocrine section here. And then the next bonus with this book, it comes at the back of the book. If you don't have time to read the entire book, they do have like a cram sheet at the back of the book. You have the cram sheet right here, and it just basically go over everything, but in a more condensed form. So you have all your murmurs, your systolic from diastolic murmurs. It just has everything that you need to know. And if you guys know me, you guys know that I love taking notes. So this was all my notes that I took, and let me show you guys. So for my men's health, you guys can see I have so much notes right here. So that's how I, like, for testicular torsion, I remember getting kicked in the balls, and that is testicular torsion. Then you have epididymis, and with epididymis, you know that if the patient is under 35, it's more than likely an STI, gonorrhea, or chlamydia. And if the patient is over 35, it's normally E. coli. Look at that. And this is how I study. I just like writing notes. Like, look at this. This is all neuro. I have my all endocrine, everything endocrine. I have everything psych. Yes. And I studied all of that. I studied for 8 weeks. And after the 8 weeks, I did the exam and I passed, and I got to go to clinicals. So right now I'm in clinicals. So also, guys, make sure that when you're answering the question, if you come across a question that you don't have an idea what it's talking about, just flag that question and move on to the next one. You can always go back to it. Like at the end of the test, it will tell you that you flag this amount of questions, and you can actually do those questions. So that was a next tip for me on the second attempt, like questions that I did not understand and I completely did not know what they're talking about. I flagged those questions and I went back to um them at the end of the test. So yes, so you guys can do that. But yeah, good luck on your exam. And I know that you're going to do really well. When you do really well, make sure you come back to this video and let me know in the comment section. I basically use the Sarah Michelle crash course. I did the Q Bank, Sarah Michelle Q Bank, even though it was like really hard. The Sarah Michelle Q Bank was no joke. It was so hard. I was scoring like 40s and 30s and 20s and 50s. My score was all over the place on the Sarah Michelle Q Bank, but it really helped. Also, guys, when I was doing the Sarah Michelle questions, even though they were really hard, what I also did, I did all the questions. Once I finished them, I went back and redo the questions to make sure that those information are in my head. And at the end of the day, the Sarah Michelle, it give you a probability of passing, and my probability of passing was at 95%, and I did pass. So I think it's worth it. Like, I think it's true. With the Sarah Michelle, it basically asks you like what exam you're taking, and it builds like a whole study plan for you. It asks you when you're taking the exam, what exam you're taking. It builds the study plan for you and you can do those questions. It also gives you an exam before starting the question bank, and it also give you an exam after the course. And when you do the Q banks for the $29 a month, that one, it tells you, you can put in that you're doing the 3P exam, and with that it basically tracks how you're doing. It, you basically put the 3P exam, you put what day you're going to do it, what day you think you're going to do it, and it basically tracks and it tells you like what areas you're doing good in, what areas you need improvement in, and then it gives you the probability of passing. So when I was doing the Q bank, like my what I promised myself was if I get 94% percentile or 94% probability of passing, then I think I'm ready to take the test. And the Sarah Michelle, it gave me a 95 probability of passing. So I went ahead and I did the test on that day and I did pass. And I love the rationals, and after the questions, if when you finish doing the question, the rationale, you have an additional question, and I love that. It basically tests your knowledge to see, or it's pertaining to the question that you answered above. So yeah, I really love that. I watched her lectures constantly. Like some of my things that was like I wouldn't even know, listening to her lectures really helped me, and actually writing down the notes and rereading my notes, so doing practice questions, listening to the Sarah Michelle and writing out my notes really helped me. And those two books, like they were everything. So yeah, so that's what I did on my second try. But if you guys are doing the exam, good luck. And if you guys if you did do the exam and you fail it on your first attempt, know that this is not the last, like this is not the end of the road. You have more chances to do the exam and try to learn the body system. Once you learn the body system and you learn the body system, you learn the assessment, you learn the farm. Even if the question come up and you don't really know the questions, it's more likely for you to get the answer right if you know a little bit about the body system than you know nothing at all. So yeah, and also all my notes, I before I highlighted them and marked all over them, I did scan them and put them on my Etsy store. So if you guys are looking to purchase my notes, they are on my Etsy store, and I'll leave my Etsy store down below. So if you guys are interested, you guys can go ahead and check it out. They're all my handwritten notes. So yes, that's how I studied for my 3P exam. I was just study for that amount of hours. Don't go past that. Don't exceed it, because when you're tired, you don't remember anything. So it doesn't make sense studying when you're tired. So good luck on your exam, and I wish you all the best. You are going to be a fabulous nurse practitioner. And yes, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys go ahead, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. Make sure you guys hype up the video, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys, love y'all and good luck.